Back in the DRF Harness Studios here. We've been unjoined at the hip, Matt and I, as we're across from the room from each other, but in the same room.
I am here, if you can hear me.
And
see me.
We're going to talk about some harness racing action at the Downs at Mohegan Sun Pocono. There's 4 big stakes races, 3 for $500,000, 1 for $300,000. We're going to focus on 2 of those 4. They're part of an all-stakes pick 4 on June the 29th. There's also a 20% rebate being offered by DRF Bets, special rebate 20%. If you go to promos.drf.com, you can find out more about that. We're going to jump into the action in the James Lynch Memorial Final. It's race number 9 on the card, $300,000 final. And I got to tell you, Matt, to me, this is the best race of the group. I mean, this race is wide open.
Yeah, this is wide open. However, Warwi U Butte will take a bulk of the action. We'll probably be over bet, I imagine, just in that spot with his reputation, obviously with his with her almost unblemished record. But yeah, I mean there's some legitimate talent here from top to bottom. Even the outside horse, Tall Drink Hanover, was an elimination winner and saddled with a tough spot. But yeah, you can make a case for practically every horse in here, and it should be an exciting race.
There's no doubt the race goes through Warwi U Butte. There's no doubt that she's probably going to be a little bit shorter odds than she should be. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at how she won her elimination. I mean, she went pretty soft fractions on the lead, and things kind of went her way, and she sprinted home like she should.
Yeah, exactly. You said the three things. Elimination, pretty soft fractions, things went her way, and all of that equals a relatively safe score on the front end.
Stonebridge Soul, you'll see coming up the inside, trying to give her a little tussle there, but really where she's going, they came home in like 26 seconds. There was no chance for her to win that race at all. I mean, and there's no doubt Warwi U Butte's the one to beat, but I can't see how you can legitimately go to the window and take, let's say, 7-5 on this horse when you have a field of, that's probably 7 at least of the 8 other fillies in here that I could definitely see winning this race.
Yeah, well, like the assumption is that Warwi U Butte, if the same tactics are employed, is going to have to work a lot harder, obviously, the $300,000 final than in an elimination race. Like you said, she is the one to beat. She will be over bet. And I have a feeling I'm going to try to beat her. I have a feeling you're going to try to beat her as well. Like you said, a solid, from top to bottom, a solid race. I think I'm going to end up looking in the middle of the pack at a horse that finished third in elimination to Warwi U Butte. And now it's the 5-horse Treacherous Rain for the Tony Alagna stable, and this Dexter Dunn guy that apparently he's found his footing since coming to the U.S., and apparently he's pretty good.
There's no doubt about it. He is pretty good. I mean, he's certainly making his mark here in the U.S. I'm going to take a look at a different horse in here, and for that I'm going to bring up another replay, and this is odds-on St. Lucie winning her race, but the horse I'm looking at is swinging out wide with Tim Tetrick driving. That's Blue Ivy, who's going to charge home.
Yeah, that's just an explosive late move to just be shy.
She came home strong. She came up maybe a little bit short in the stretch, but
you can't say short. I mean, after making up that much ground, the other horse kind of got away from her a little bit at the wire. But I would say that was a short or a hanging effort.
The point is,
just to get there.
It's very hard to come from off the pace at Pocono, no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. I think that the horse that won that race, odds on St. Lucie, had a really nice trip. Blue Ivy raced really well. She's 15-1 on the morning line. We're losing driver Tim Tetrick.
I was going to say, you're going to get a big price,
which means the price is going to be better. And quite frankly, we're getting who I think is a very underrated driver in Tyler Buter, who can certainly get the job done. We've seen it no matter which circuit, whether it's here, the Meadowlands, or wherever. Tyler Buter is a really good driver. It'd be nice for him to win one of these big races. And I just look at her and I say, why isn't she, every bit as good as the others? I think she's probably a step slower than Warwi U Butte, but I'm going to get 25-1 on mine. You're going to get 7-5 on Warwi U Butte. It's worth the shot here that the trip's going to go better for my horse.
You know what? I mean, I wouldn't say you're reaching for the stars here, but you're reaching for what is going to be a very big price on for the reasons you mentioned. It could be a legitimate horse, and yeah, but by no fault of Tyler Buter, he is just going to get kind of ignored here by the betting public when you have all the Gingrazes, the Dave Millers, the Tim Tetricks of the world, Brian Sears of the world, Dexter Dunn, who's attracting a lot of attention. Tim Tetrick went to the 4 Stonebridge Soul. Solid runner-up effort to Warwi U Butte, chasing that one home. So yeah, you're going to look at a big price. I'm going to look at a medium range price with Treacherous Rain. First over into a soft half, as we mentioned, hung around decently. She was a Fan Hanover winner, beating Warwick Butte up by nose up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Some sort of covered trip. She might be the freshest one late. It all comes down to trip, but I guess we're on board with the fact that don't take Warwick Butte as a short price, and she will be over bet.
No
Plenty
doubt.
of options.
No doubt. That's the main thing to look at here. Just Warwick Butte, while she's the best horse, she very well might win. She's not really the best bet in this race.
That's a good way to put it, actually. I like that.
We're going to move on to race number 11. It's the $500,000 Ben Franklin final for the older Pacers, and this is a pretty stacked field as well. I mean, obviously, some of the best ones in the race are towards the inside of the gate, which means maybe some shorter prices there. But even though Western Fame's the 5-2 morning line favorite, I still have to think that if they all come with their best effort, the race goes through McWicked.
Yeah, you know what? I spent a lot of time, or I did the last year or so, trying to beat McWicked, come with excuses not to play him. Now I kind of like him here. This race is interesting because you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 4-year-olds in this race who are transitioning to the older ranks. And generally, I don't know if maybe in years past, we haven't seen as many 4-year-olds that are now in, let's say, the open aged pacing division. With Springsteen, ridiculously talented and ridiculously erratic. Burke trainee, 2 Burke trainees. This is the plan in Dorsador, Hanover. I got to go with the proven entity here. I got to go with McWicked, and you know what? He might not even be the favorite here. Western Fame could very well be the slight favorite here. Off that front-end dominant score in the elimination. Well,
let's take a look at what happened last week with McWicked in this race, and he was against Lather Up, and you're going to see Lather Up's on the lead here. McWicked's going to come at him, and Lather Up's going to have a little issues with his gait here, get a little sloppy, which isn't uncommon here at Pocono for him.
Yeah, you know what? He's another 4-year-old that I didn't get to mention yet, and listen, Lather Up is very fast, very talented, and
kudos to him for coming back at McWicked here and taking the lead. I mean, you got to give him some props there.
When he minds his manners or he has his mind on his game, he's one of the fastest horses we've seen in the last handful of years. But like I mentioned previously, he's broke stride twice. Last year over the Pocono surface, you see there, he gets steppy on the turn. Maybe once he straightens out and gets his head back in the game, he's good to go. But who knows what to expect? I suppose of the prices, if you're getting 4, 5, 6 to 1 or higher, it's certainly a valid
Listen,
option.
he's a valid horse. He could certainly win the race, but he's a huge risk.
But you know what? That's what I was getting with Springsteen. He's a valid horse. He can win the race. I know he was charging home in his elimination, but how often have we seen back-to-back great efforts from this horse? We saw him, all sorts of weird stuff go on with him as a 3-year-olds. I just got to see, before I can get on his bandwagon, I got to see much more consistency.
Speaking of Springsteen, I want to bring up that replay we just watched one more time so we can really get a good grasp of where he came from. I think he's sitting third on the rail here, and driver Simon Allard's going to be able to sneak him out, behind the outer flow. It's coming right there. He sneaks out off the 3-hole. He's going to swing out wide and really charge home. But more than the fact that he's charging home, what I want you to, when he does come into play, because right now you can't even see him on the screen, I want you to focus on the fact that Simon Allard's really not, chasing him too hard. He's just kind of sitting on him. The whip is even back here, as you see at the wire. He's not really going after him, and I absolutely love Springsteen in this spot. Not because I think he's the best horse in the race. I think there's a lot of good horses in this race. But I really think that this is a horse that, one, he can shine at this track. He's done it before. He won the Hemp here last year as a 3-year-old. He's a really fast horse. It's just his second start of the year. I think there's a ton of speed in this race that could set him up, if things go his way.
Set him up where? What's he uncovered? What's his trip?
I think he
got lucky to slide out there to unleash that wicked burst of speed.
No doubt about it. But if you look at the way this race shapes up, you got Western Fame, who's definitely going. I'm guessing Brian Sears is going to push away a little bit with McWicked. This is the plan, who's definitely going. Lather Up, I don't think he's going to come away 8th in this race. He's got to be pushing away from the gate.
He's kind of the key to the race, because will he push a ridiculously fast first quarter? Will he get erratic on the front end, on the first turn, and and not be part
as
of the
long
pace
as he
battle?
listen, as long as he makes it to that first turn, into that first turn.
Okay.
If he gets halfway into, that's going to be enough to push the pace pretty quick.
Okay.
I really, maybe Mick Wicked and Brian Sears are going to try to go down the road here, but I just don't see how they're going to keep Western Fame, and this is the plan from going to the top. And
well, it's definitely not a down the road with Mick Wicked. It would be a brush, to control attempt.
I would imagine he's going to try and brush.
Western Fame, obviously, at some point is going to be on the lead here. That's his game. I can't imagine they're going to change up the game plan in any way. But
honestly, I just have a lot of confidence in Springsteen. Okay. I like what trainer Rene Allard has done this year. All of his big horses, he's really taken his time with them. He's brought them back really late. In the past, they came up a little bit earlier. They were prepared to go a little bit earlier. This year, he's really taken his time, I guess, to focus on these big races. I don't know. To me, all the things seem to point in his direction, at least on my radar. Another horse that, I'll be using on my ticket, certainly in my pick 4, is This Is the Plan. He's going to be a good long shot in here. I really do think he can get around Western Fame. And even if he gets shuffled to second or third, even the 3-hole at Pocono really isn't the worst spot in the world. That passing lane seems to be like 20 lanes wide sometimes, and they come shooting up the inside. I wouldn't be shocked if he's involved there at a pretty nice price.
Well, I'm going to stick with, I shouldn't say stick with, I'm going to jump on the Mick Wicked bandwagon. Yeah, he's only 1 win in 3 starts, and yeah, he finished third in his last 2 starts. It's not like they were bad efforts. Tough trips, just out-finished late. Now that the big money's back on the line for this champion horse, $500,000, I think he's just going to be firing on all cylinders, 100%. Brian Sears, I have all the confidence in the world in a race like this that he will somehow work out a perfect trip, and I'm going to take a stab with him at what probably won't be the favorite in this race.
All right, well, it's June 29th, the Downs at Mohegan Sun, Pocono. We have DRF Harness Live fired up with live video, and Garnett Barnsdale is going to be doing some real-time commentary. Of course, DRF bets, promos.drf.com for a 20% rebate on the action at Pocono that night.
20%.
20%. You can't go wrong there. That's takeout free on win bets. How do you like that? And plenty of great live stakes action. Don't forget to tune in, and you can also follow us on Twitter, DRF Harness, and Facebook, DRF Harness. Good luck.